What a wonderful place, Asturias, an oasis of tranquility where José enjoys strolling in the shade of his cherry trees, but where he especially enjoys eating cherries. The cherries are a tasty fruit, and José likes them so much that while he was eating the last harvest, he couldn't stop thinking about how to get more. Ah, what an appetite! If you like cherries as much as our favourite gardener does, this video will interest you because José has decided to germinate the stones of the cherries that he's eating to grow new trees. And all for free. Pay attention to the steps you need to follow to get a tree like the one that you can see in this video, starting with a simple cherry stone. Look at that marvellous specimen behind José. That's exactly what you would be trying to achieve.
¿Y qué pasaría si germino este hueso de cereza?
Salgo, los días oscuros se van con el sol radiante. Cultivo algo puro, no entiendo de conservantes. Comida en abundancia, pero con toque exquisito. Ponte otro vídeo pa' que abras el apetito.
If you've decided to have a cherry tree in your garden, you have two options. You can germinate the pit or the stone of the cherry you have just eaten, or you can just visit a garden centre that you trust and buy the variety that you like the most, one that's already germinated. In other videos of our channel in Spanish, which appear at the top of the image, you can see how to plant and look after a young tree. But in this video, you're going to learn how to cultivate the plant from the seed. You will make your own cherry tree grow from the cherry stone itself. The method is really simple, but you must be aware that the process is long, since the tree takes years to grow properly and produce fruit. So if you don't have a lot of patience, it's probably better to buy the tree. The transport and storing conditions of the fruit mean that germinating a seed isn't always easy. So if you decide to try this method, the ideal thing is to use cherries recently picked from the tree, or at least that haven't been kept in refrigerated chambers. Fruit that is picked very early and which matures artificially usually has a sterile seed. But don't be put off, it's not impossible. To get fruit with good quality seeds, you can visit your local market and always buy seasonal fruit that hasn't been stored for a long time.
A mediados o finales del verano, que es la época buena en la que se cosechan los frutos. De esta manera, además de poder disfrutar del espectacular sabor de las cerezas, vas a asegurarte de que están cosechadas en la mejor época.
Once you get your cherries, first of all, enjoy the flavour. And while you can plant it right after you've eaten the cherry, in the case of the cherry tree, the ideal thing is to plant it in autumn. Stone fruit need hours of cold to grow. To keep them, you can clean the stone carefully after eating it. Remove the bits of skin and fruit remaining, which can be stuck to the stone. You can then keep them in the fridge, wrapped in a slightly damp cloth for 3 months. If you don't want to wait, you can plant the stone directly following the steps in this video. First of all, choose a sunny place that has neutral soil or slightly acidic soil. Never plant just one seed. Plant at least 2 or 3 in each place, because obviously some may fail. To ensure that the plant has the right amount of humidity in its early stages, it is better to plant it in a plant pot and not directly into the ground.
Así aumentarás las probabilidades de éxito y si alguna falla, no te quedas sin planta.
Place the seeds at a depth of 2 or 3 centimetres into the plant pot, as you can see José doing in our video. After, put the cherry pit in its place and cover it lightly with earth, so it's not exposed to the sun. If you want various seeds in a plant pot, choose a big size. That allows the distance of the palm of your hand, say 20 centimetres, between the cherry stones.
Y cubrimos con la turba. Ya tendríamos plantada nuestra primera semilla de cerezo.
If you plant in summer, when you collect the fruit and everything goes well, at the end of winter and the beginning of spring, you will finally be able to see the first signs of growth. Yoo-hoo!
Lo que podemos hacer será separarlas sin romper las raíces y o bien ponerlas en tiestos independientes o bien dejarlas ya preparadas para el trasplante final a suelo. Si todo va bien, a finales del invierno...
Look at that little sprout. Gives a lot of satisfaction. If you live in a cold area, you must keep an eye on the dampness of the plant pot and avoid an excess of water. You also need to avoid any layers of ice forming near the young plant. The plant should never have excessive damp because its roots could rot. 9 months later, the cherry pit will have grown to be a small tree, like the one you can see now in José's hands. It's hardly 5 centimetres tall, but these are the beginnings of a beautiful tree, like the one you can see at the beginning of the video. Our recommendation for this plant is to let it grow during the first year in the plant pot, and in the following spring change it to a bigger pot if you have an urban orchard, or directly into the soil if you have a garden. At the top part of the image, you can see a link to a video with the top 5 pieces of advice to look after your cherry tree and get it to grow strong and healthy, producing loads of fruit. The most important secrets to gardening successfully are patience and love. Love of everything you do in your garden. So now you know how to have a cherry tree. Although there are small tips that can help your cherry tree to grow faster, there is one specific technique that will make the seed sprout in 1 and not in 3 months. That's what José is going to explain to us now. The trick is to very carefully break the stone that protects the seed, for example, by pressing it between 2 weights. It's important not to damage the seed inside, and when you remove it, you must place it in cotton wool or kitchen paper, keeping it slightly damp for 1 or 2 weeks. Using this method, you can speed up the germination process, and after just a month, hey presto, you can see the plant. So, now you know all you need to know. We hope you found this really useful as usual. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Espero que este vídeo te haya sido de utilidad y espero también que te haya gustado tanto como a mí me ha gustado.
Es el plaf, tío. Que tras las baldosas de mármol creciera la semilla que yo he plantado de mi árbol. El cuidado de la naturaleza será por algo. Contaminan el planeta que yo salvo. Salgo, los días oscuros se van con el sol radiante. Cultivo algo puro, no entiendo de conservantes. Comida en abundancia pero con toque exquisito. Ponte otro vídeo pa' que abras el apetito. Qué delito tiene un tipo que baila bajo la lluvia, haciendo florecer la tierra de los paisajes de Asturias. A mí que me gusta el fútbol, vivo abonado a estos campos. Con el canto del gallo me levanto. Laderas del naranjo. Pudo suceder que no sea todo artificio. No se hagas con dinero, sí con sudor sacrificio. Caerán las frutas que con la mano acaricio. Me dejó la piel, tirarla sería un desperdicio, bro.